When I got my bike, the oil seals had a little rust on them, so I wanted to renew them. And I thought while I was renewing them, I may as well paint the triple clamp and renew the oil. I went up a grade to 15 from 10 to make them a bit stiffer. So today I'm going to show you how I changed the seals, placed the oil, and how I painted the triple clamp. Here's the products I use. I've got the fork oil, which I use the Pro RSF 15. I've got the PVC pipe to make the servicing tool. I had to buy an Abba stand, which was one of the more expensive things, but I went with Abba over paddock stands because Abba's more stable, especially when you're bringing like the front up and you're leaving it up for a while. I did buy the pyramid plastic seals, but they were rubbish. They were like for the wrong size, whatever. So I had to order in new seals halfway through this. So I ordered in like OEM ones. Cost a bit more, but you know, it's better to have the OEM. Had to get some locket stuff to lock some of the nuts in place. I got some hammerite paint for the triple clamp, the smooth silver hammerite. I also put on a fender extender. I thought I may as well do it while I'm doing everything. That's one of the pyramid plastic ones. One of my Oxford grips was a bit loose, so I got some grip glue, some heated stuff to fix that. Right, here's my bike up on the Abba stand with the front wheel up. I'm using Abba's straps to pull the back end down so the front end goes up. I removed the front brake calipers and tied them off and made sure the weight was off the hoses. I tried to remove the front wheel, but the axle bolt it wasn't moving at all. I couldn't get it to budge. So I had to wait until I could get a breaker bar. That's my new breaker bar. It's 750 millimeters. As soon as I got that and put it on the bolt just moved straight away. Took off both the wing mirrors, the left and the right. Took off the bolts on the side. With the little view bits for the dash. Take off the front screen with all the little bolts going around it. Now I've took off the front nose fairing. You don't really need to take this off, but it's less awkward if you take it off, and seeing this was my first time doing the forks, I thought I'd just take it off just to make it easier. Getting down to like everything's bare now. Took off the dash, took off the front nose, took off the front wheel. I was worried about the bike being left so long on the Abba stand, so to give it extra support I put a jack under there with a wooden block, but I put it so it's not even that tight against the engine. It's not taking any weight of the engine at all, but if the bike was to like rock or something, then it would start taking the weight. Here's the axle, the front fender, the nose cone. There's the wheel off, and there's all my tools scattered all over the floor. The front fender was a real pain to get off because of two bolts. I had to drill the two bolts out because they just fell apart. Like I put the Allen key in and it was just not going to turn whatsoever. I've replaced them with bolts with locking nuts on the end, so next time I take them off it won't be a problem. Now I have to loosen the clip-ons, then loosen the triple clamp, loosen the top, slide the forks out. It's better to crack the fork nuts while they're on the bike rather than when you take them out, because you have to start using clamps and stuff. The annoying thing I found out about forks is you literally have to take them all the way down to nothing. You have to take them to every little tiny piece apart just to put the new seals on. So there's my forks now, like everything's out. All the tiny little bits and pieces are out. There's my fender extender on. They're not really that hard to put on. I chose to put the bolts on because I didn't want it like going anywhere. Here's my triple clamp. I've painted half of it. The other half you can see how bad it was getting, but on the right side of it you can see how good it looks with the new paint on it. Hammerite just goes straight over rust, so it's a quick and easy job to do. And here's what all the work was for. This is my fork with the oil put in it, the air gap done. It's the new oil, the 15W oil. It's got the new seals, the new dust seals and new oil seals. I polished the fork down just to like make sure it's all clean and everything, and yeah, it's all back together and all perfect. Right, put them back in, tighten up the triple clamp, make sure they're not sticking up because it's the K5, and on the K5 you don't have the forks sticking up above the yoke. Setting the preload, I've set my preload to 3 because that's like the average. I'll probably play about with it later on. And like literally that's it. You just put everything back together, then put the front nose cone on, connect back the light, put all the bolts of the front on, so you can put the windscreen on, so you put the wing mirrors on. Make sure you put the front wheel on, brake calipers. So I don't get confused of what bolt goes where. I have a little pot with loads of little segments in it, and as I'm taking stuff off, like I put all the fairing type bolts in one section, then all the next type bolts in the next section, and then the further I go into like one of these jobs, I have like different sections. So when I go back through it, I just go back through the sections so I don't get all confused. It's pretty painless, like doing the whole job. The only annoying thing was that front fender where the 2 bolts just wouldn't come out and had to drill them. Other than that, everything was easy enough. It was just I didn't have some of the tools required. Like I didn't have the correct seals because the pyramid plastic cheap ones I got off eBay just didn't work whatsoever. They just slid straight out. So I had to order new seals, and I had to order new oil because of the wasted oil that I used on the pyramid plastic ones. And I didn't have a breaker bar capable of removing my front axle, but now I do. Yeah, it was easy enough doing the forks. I will do them again when it's needed. Now that I have all the tools, it should be pretty painless. Thanks for watching.